Hi, welcome to PJ and the Beard. This is our 19 conversation series. I don't know. I just noticed, I guess in my rush to get this set up, I put 29 conversations, which is hysterical because this is conversation number 30. So whether it's 19 or 29, it's still messed up. But it should be our 19 conversation series, and I'll probably fix that title later because I'm ridiculous like that. No guest today. Just us two goons.
Jace.
So, I think we can hold off on the clip and the pedal of the day for a minute.
Yeah, we got Uncle Brian jumping in front row seat.
Yep.
Is that usually is Pete's not sitting there with you today? Isn't it Pete usually in first?
Or who has it been? Is it Paul, the pedal guy that has all the pedal blog?
I don't remember, but Zah just jumped in from Brazil.
Oh yeah, man. Nice to see him.
Mm-hmm.
So, there's so many little dilemmas and thoughts. I guess we could jump right into the clip. I love this clip, though. I kind of wanted to hold it until a couple more people got in, but when your roll call is 3, you can't really stall too much.
Right. Bueller.
But yeah. Should we do the clip?
I guess we could. I can't think of anything else to
there's some
stall on.
Right, there's some stuff to talk about, but
talk about toilet paper. Yeah, it's always a good time.
Well, that's. I'm sorry. I just do not understand how there is still a toilet paper shortage.
Well, it's sort of snowballed, right? Like it went to where people hoarded it, to where the next time somebody saw it, they bought it, and if the stores were allowing 2, they bought 2 because they could. And before you know it, when you're also
actually a store. I mean, somebody has to have a ton of toilet paper in their house.
Yeah, I don't have all the math right, but it's somebody who's like, man, this is just a big, and maybe Brian Landers could chime in as a trucker, but like, there's just like, they might have, I'm going to make this number up. They might have in the next step back from the supply chain 3 weeks of supply, and then they get the next from the next. And I think from that initial rush on toilet paper, I still don't feel like everybody is caught up yet. Well, getting all the right amounts in the right spot.
Lori was saying something about it had something to do with pulp coming from Canada to make the toilet paper, and they were having trouble getting that. Or I can't bring myself to do a Google search on toilet paper shortage. You know what I mean?
I'm just amazed to learn that, like, as much as we like tone woods, that there might be maple in our toilet paper. That's fantastic.
Oh no, there'll be a maple syrup shortage later.
Say it's not so.
Well, and my neighborhood is bizarre. They've scheduled all these food trucks to come in, and like in the best of times, I don't hold up a food truck as being like the cleanest place to eat.
Right.
So if you're worried about sanitation and sanitary practices, I don't think, let's go to a food truck. I think like let's avoid that. But they literally have like every couple of days a different food truck coming through. And then I wondered maybe that had something to do. Like if all neighborhoods were doing this, maybe that has something to do with the toilet paper shortage.
I had a friend of mine who was in Walmart, and apparently on the same aisle, so the paper products down the middle of this aisle, and on the one shelf behind him was like all of the taco seasoning and the salsa. Nice. And it was like all gone. And he's like, I get it now.
I get it. It makes total sense.
That's 2 dots we can connect.
Oh my gosh. Food trucks, tacos, and toilet paper shortages.
That's what you should have put as the teaser. Food truck, tacos, toilet paper. Join us at 4:30.
All right, let's do the clip.
Now let's do it.
Let's do it. This is mine. I picked this one. I ran across it last night. I actually posted this to our Facebook page. So if you want to see the whole clip, if you run out to the PJ and the Beard Facebook page, and it's as simple as typing in PJ and the Beard and looking at Facebook. But there might be a link in the description too. If you want to see the whole thing, I posted it there. It's from 1972, and live at the Sugar Bowl. And so Freddie comes out This is Freddie King, and gives. So I listened to it last night before I posted it, obviously, and then I listened to it again today. It's a lesson in dynamics. This whole clip, this whole song. The band is brilliant. Like, his band is brilliant. Like, they bring it up when they need to bring it up. They bring it way down. I mean, way down. And you can tell, like, they're playing less when they bring it down. They play less because they're leaving more space. When they bring it up, they play more. They create more behind them. I think there's a piano player and an organ player, and they're not, they're just, it's just perfect. And then Freddie's guitar, if you look on stage, it looks like I just caught a glimpse of it. I didn't really study it to see, but it almost looks like there's one of those like Fender Super 6s on there, like the 610 or the 612. You know what I'm talking about? Like the old Fender amps have like 610s or 612s in them. His guitar is rip roaring though. Like, like he's in the stadium and they're like, you need to turn down. like, his guitar is rip roaring. But then one of the things I love about Freddie King is, like, he comes out and he just plays this incredible guitar, and then he opens his mouth, and it's like, it's even better, So Brian was giving us some insight. He says, warehouse space is expensive. All right, just done time of production, sudden spike in demand throws that off. There is no shortage. It's just a timing thing. So that's what I keep thinking. Like, we bought our standard Costco toilet paper supply right before this happened. It's going to have to, hopefully before that runs out, we'll be in good shape.
It's going to have to make do.
Make do.
I said
all right, here he is.
Let's get to the clip.
The one and only Freddie King.
One day we have ham and bacon, and the next day it ain't nothing shaking, but it ain't nobody's business if we do. Can you hear me? If me and my baby fuss and fight, yes, in the next minute, let me tell you, we all right. But it ain't nobody's business, all right? If we do, let me tell you why.
I mean, I keep going.
Right, yeah, we could cover the whole hour with that. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, and there's so much hanging there. Like, if we never do this with the clip, but I want to do this. Like, where's he start singing?
Give me nobody's been.
Sorry.
And the next we have it.
So when he started singing here, just listen, like, it just struck me, and maybe it's just me, but there's so much, it's almost like the band is just like waiting. There's so much time and space put in. Like, you expect him to be singing, and it's like another beat or two go by. He's like so far behind, it seems like. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
but it's just like perfect. Like where it comes in, and the drummer back there, I love him. The drummer, like he's hitting those big snare hits, just to accent certain things behind what he's singing, and then getting way back off again. And I mean, if we went through the whole song, there's just so many instances where like you got the organ player just kind of like hanging on a chord real low, and I don't know. But I want to.
I'm just laughing real quick because I'm gonna let you keep going where you're going. But it's funny. I feel like I'm at Berkeley, and I'm with Professor Beard, and I'm in the Albert King lab.
The Albert King lab.
We're gonna dissect this today.
Yeah, I mean, but I just listen to him sing this first verse and think about how much time. Because one of the big things, like those old blues guys that I was learning to play from, they would always say, it's not what notes you play, it's what notes you don't. Right. And I think even here where he's singing and stuff, this is a matter.
He had me at ham and bacon before he even.
All right. First verse. Just see the first verse.
One day, we have ham and bacon. And the next day, it ain't nothing shaking. But it ain't nobody's business. If we do, can you hear me? If me and my baby fuss and fight.
You hear that snare right there at the end too, right? He just cracked.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Brody was like at 355. I think he's got a little wiggle stick on that one, and then he's got the Elvis jumpsuit. He's got the strap over the right shoulder. He look like Carlos Santana playing the organ.
Nobody does butterfly collars like Freddie King.
That's right.
That guy, nobody does it. Michael Mackinnon, he's in. He said back phrasing. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's just because sometimes you hear guys get light, like you're playing, and so for me, I'm drawing more on like kind of the experience I'm playing in blues and with blues guys than for maybe the other experience that we have with praise and worship. But when you say like bring it down, people bring it down, but they play the same thing they were playing when they were up. So if I'm riding on the hat, playing 8 notes on the hat, 2 and 4, and I'm chucking along, you're like, all right, bring it down. I just do that lighter. But I feel like sometimes, like this guy back here in the drums and stuff, he's going from 8ths to quarters. Like he's dropping notes too.
Well, and I think I looked up and
dropping notes.
Well, and I think in part of that too, I think I saw him like throw up a hand and flash a cue to the rest of the band too, right around the time he started to sing or after his first phrase. So yeah. Kind
of directing it a little bit, but I mean the band is.
Well, it's like it looked like you had like Richie Robinson on the piano, Carlos Santana on the organ, you got Jimi Hendrix on the drums. I mean, come on.
Right, I thought the same thing on the drummer. I think I don't know if it is in this video, but I think his brother played bass for him a lot too. I think Freddie King's brother, and somebody out there might know. Brian said, "I wish I could sing. If I could sing like that, I would not care if I ever played anything or not." Yeah, man, I'm with you. If I could sing, my wife laughs at me because the guys I want to sing like are like Freddie King and those guys.
All of the Kings, which is why Bosco France earlier in the week was like, I wasn't wild that the Guitar Center competition that I won was called King of the Blues at that point because there's 3 of those and he's not one.
Right.
Although he is unbelievable, but yeah.
But I mean, we could get and notice something. We're 4 minutes into that song, and that was the first verse. Like, right. I mean, there's a whole lot of something going on in the beginning of that. But I would encourage anybody that's fans of that kind of stuff, or whether you are or not,
you will be.
Yeah, that's the kind of song that makes you be. It's a slow blues.
Draws you in.
Boring, man. It's. They use that dynamics to get you and pull you in and suck you in, and then they get loud. It's the thing. You can be loud. You can be loud and not be punishing if you can be soft.
Right.
Right. I mean, if you are here, you can go above that, and if you can go above that and below that in volume, you have a lot more. If you're always playing at the top, then you're killing people.
Yeah, it's like Buddy Guy as well. Same thing.
Oh, yeah.
He can probably bring it down lower than just about anybody.
Right. Freddie was pretty close to a Buddy Guy low, but
Buddy Guy gets down to where he's like, "Can you hear the amps humming?"
right. Which is funny in this video, you can actually hear Freddie's amp humming, but I get what you're saying. Buddy will be in like an auditorium.
Yeah.
And he will sing without a mic over
That's
top
right.
of the band.
Yep.
And you can hear him.
Yep.
Or he'll sing 8 feet away from the mic and you can hear him. Yeah.
So there's your bluesology for the day. We have a new segment.
Bluesology.
Professor Beard bluesology class. So it's just started.
But
that was great.
Yeah, I know I'm ranting about it, but it's the thing. Like, I think back to when there was a time in Harrisburg where any night of the week you could go see a blues band. And Mike McEnany, who's in the chat right now over on Facebook, would know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And there were good bands. Mike McEnany was in one of them. But there was a time where you could go see a band every night of the week, and the bands that were really good had that dynamics thing. I'm laughing at Landra.
Yeah. Uncle Bry.
Well, there's your analogy for the day, folks.
Right.
I'm PJ. I'm the beard on the. That's pretty funny. Pedal today?
Are we going to do guitar first? Because pedal's going to go down.
Guitar, because then you get to talk and I don't have to.
I'm thinking. I did my share of talking. So I've been trying to do a guitar of the day, and I'm going to show one here. I think I showed let's just say when I started playing at church, 2 of the people I knew both had D35s. So I went down the D35 path early. I think I showed my Sigma DR35 was my first acoustic guitar. And then I think I showed my Shade Top 75 D35. And then I came across this one, and she's got some miles on her, but it's a 72 D35 custom that's what caught my eye, honestly, the headstock, right? Like that's usually reserved for like D45s and the like, but she's got some miles on it. She's got some scrapes, and she's a couple pick strokes away from becoming trigger over here. There's some pretty significant wear in here. Some of the binding, the good news is these pieces of binding that are missing here on the back are actually in the case. But there's one of the reasons I love D35s, because you get that right there. I bought it. It's got all kinds of like goop and residue on it, and just it needs something. It's got weird stuff down the neck. It's got all this buildup of stuff. I got it for a good price. It's funny, like everything I bought from my friend Randall at Triple R, who we've talked about before. I tend to keep the little tag like a mini pearl. And I saw the tag in the case today, and I'm like, I know I didn't pay that much for it. Because once I got it, I took it to a local guy, David Strait, who's brilliant with acoustics. And let's see, glue main top brace, fix a crack, reglue all 4 back braces, new bone nut and saddle, replace 7 frets, and put in a K&K pure mini sound in it. She's old. She's a little quirky. She's huge. I have it tuned down half step to kind of give a little bit of a break because of the top, but. So anyway, the playing never sounds great, but 72 custom D35. It does say custom right in here on the block. So at some point, I will probably have a little bit more loving care given to her, but it's just got some weird stuff. It's something that probably wasn't well cared for at one point, and I'm not sure that I've done it any favors with probably less than controlled climates, but it's a really cool piece. I joked with my wife that because it's a 72, the same year she was born, and I guess I just told my wife's age, and I said, honey, I bought a guitar for you. Now, I will, real quick, and I'll be done talking about this, but I don't know how much you can see this top. It's got some really interesting checking on it, like that. You see that towards the bottom down here, over here? It's wild. Like, and it's got pick scrapes, and you can kind of see it there. So anyway, lots of character. If she could tell stories, we'd listen. So there it is.
Right on. That's a cool guitar.
Yeah.
Mac had said that we could mix it up with each other on any given. That was kind of the cool thing too back then. You're right, Mac, because there'd be nights like where if one of the bands was missing a bass or a guitar or a drum or whatever, you'd get somebody from another group to come and sit, like it. And then if you weren't playing that night, you went out to watch a band. I can't tell you how many times Mac was nice enough to have me come up and sit in with his band or somebody else sitting in with mine, and it was fun times. I think everybody got old. I'm not sure what happened. that or the music scene. Either the music scene kind of dried up, or everybody got old. I'm not sure.
I never got in that scene because people didn't like too much gain, chorus, and long delay. You're like, who brought the 80s pop guy to the blues jam?
Pedal today?
Yes.
So, yeah, all right. Give us a break. It's another Leslie pedal. It's the Pinwheel.
We have 25.
Right. It's the Pinwheel by Fender.
Mm-hmm.
Which this one is cool because it's cool for multiple reasons, but this does have that sensitivity feature on it that you were talking about, where you can set it so if you hit the strings harder, it speeds up, and if you play softer, it slows down, which is kind of cool. It's a great sounding Leslie pedal. The Fender stuff is built like a tank.
Yeah.
Takes an expression pedal, stereo. Actually, that feature is called Dynamics, and on the back you have a switch for dynamics on and off. Max said the room's dried up before the bands did. Dried up or dried out?
You're right. Depends on the night.
The reason we're showing this one is because Fender's been really good to us. I mean, we really...
Yep.
Pat, I know, has talked about it several times, how surprised he was that Fender was able to help us out with this pedal when we said we were doing the Leslie series. In fact, we went back to Fender and said, look, we're doing a tremolo series, and they've agreed to help us out with that too. It's the one tremolo pedal that we don't have. And I think that has something to do with everything that's been going on. So I did reach out to our guy at Fender yesterday after we had our live stream and was just, check it on and make sure he's okay. And then asked him what was going on with it's the tube. They have two of these tremolos in this series, but the one we had asked about is the tube tremolo, which isn't out yet. It's pre-ordered. You can pre-order it. I think he said it's coming out the end of April.
Or did he say May 21st? I thought he said May 21st.
Yeah, May something. You're right. The end of May.
Yeah.
And that's a tube tremolo and actually has a tube in it. So we're excited to get that. And then there was a couple other questions asked in that email. And then there was a couple other things offered. And so we want to keep a little bit of it kind of under wraps because
we don't want to be like that Victoria girl. We want to have some things a secret.
Right. Well, and if you talk about things don't happen.
Right.
But I'll say this. It looks like we're going to take the advice of people that were in here yesterday, go with the Twisted Telly pickups. It looks like, we hope maybe to be able to talk to somebody about some of these in the chat. And there might be some other stuff that came out of that too. So, they're great. Fenders. Hats off to Fender. Brian said he thinks the Fender pedals are underrated. You know what? I mean, you look online, anybody that's played them and talked about them has good things to say.
Yeah, I think it's the Marine Reverb. Like, that was a nice pedal too. And Brody's on the chat. That's one I keep forgetting to say that has shimmer on it too. I'm pretty sure that Marine one, because Brody's on a little bit of a shimmer quest, and that's one I keep forgetting about.
Right? Their drive pedals get a lot of love. I mean, and they have a lot of. What does the Fender pedal line look like? How hard would that be to pull up?
It's grown. I mean, I think they kind of relaunched pedals with 5 or 6 maybe, and then every year at NAMM they keep introducing more.
Yeah. I mean, grown to the point, there's a couple other ones. You know, like when you have you don't want to go back to the well too often, put it that way. Right? Like, you don't want to. That's kind of what I struggle with, because I'd like to get them all. We got to be a little. So let's just look at this real quick. You got the Lost Highway Phaser. And I mean, price range, $149, and this thing is built like a tank.
Right.
The Triverb. The Pinwheel, which is the one we have. 4-way envelope. The pour-over envelope filter, which is one that I discovered the other day. I think I texted Pat a video of it when I discovered it. I'm like, wait, what? Where did this come from?
Listen, we haven't even got to the tremolo one, but I'm telling you, there's an envelope filter series in our future.
The Bubbler Chorus.
Okay.
The Smolder Acoustic OD.
That's interesting.
The Marine Layer Reverb. So what's the difference between
the one.
The Triverb and the digital? The Triverb is their digital reverb and tremolo, which maybe we should have went for that one.
But that Marine Layer one is the one I'm 95% sure has shimmer in it.
The Reflecting Pool.
That's delay
and reverb.
Nice.
The Computulus compressor distortion. The Trapper is a dual fuzz. This is the one that's pre-order right now that we're waiting. No, it's not. That's tube distortion, and then the tube. Oh my gosh, there's 2 tube distortion pedals there.
So maybe is it even on there yet? I guess we had to know about it.
The Pugilist distortion, the Full Moon distortion, the Pelt fuzz, which looks like a smaller box.
Smaller footprint.
The Engager boost, the Benz, the Mirror Image delay, the Santa Ana overdrive, level set buffer, Downtown Express bass multi-effect pedal, and here's the MGT tube tremolo. That's the one that we are going to get in for the series.
I just found it interesting. I think the fuzz was pink. I love when they do that. They take like the raunchy, gnarly sounding things, and I think they put it in a pink enclosure. That one's purple. I guess it's purple. Make it sound hairy.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean they're great, and we're really happy to get the Leslie pedal in. It sounded great. Looking forward to the tremolo one.
Brian said Bruce Egnator helped design the tube-driven gain pedal, and you know what, Brian? I think maybe not only are you right, but I think maybe he helped design all the tube-driven pedals, because I think I kind of feel like he was involved on this too. Although it doesn't say it, but I kind of feel like he was involved in that too.
Can you jump into that Marine Layer pedal real quick? Brody was asking if Fender referred to shimmer as special, and I think that is maybe how they listed on that Marine Layer reverb. I think that's what it is.
There's a hall room and special.
Yeah, it's special. It is special indeed. The Angel pedal is disguised as the special setting there. So maybe if you did a shimmer search, you wouldn't have found that. But yeah.
Yeah, shimmer reverb.
Yeah. Is that under the special setting? Does it say or not? It doesn't matter, I guess, really. But
combining opto. I don't know. I don't
Yeah, I think
know if that's the difference between 1 and 2.
Right. And I don't know what these are like on the used market in reverb. Not sure.
This is the rabbit.
Yep. Yeah. This is what happens when we don't have guests. I only say that because some things with Shimmer, like the Canyon, probably $100-ish.
150, 140.
So really not really that great a deal because it's what, 150 new? Is that what it was? 149?
Unless you want the guy that apparently is putting a silk screen of it on. Oh, that's a Fender shirt. It says Fender shirt. Okay. Whatever.
They got that in a medium. That's kind of funny, actually.
Yeah.
I'd want mine definitely set to special though if I was wearing it. I want the toggle switch to be on special.
Oh my. They're all pink and oh my gosh.
See, you're like Ron Burgundy, man. Stay classy, San Diego. We need a screener for you. Oh my.
Family show.
I was in Facebook jail for 15 minutes one day, and I don't need to be in YouTube jail. But... Stu Rat.
Let's see what help raise the standards.
Yeah.
So somebody, I mean, speaking of comments and viewer comments, at some point in time we need to go back through viewer comments.
Yeah.
And talk about some of them. I started to do that one day and I just got overwhelmed. But one of my favorite ones recently was somebody, I think it was one of the live stream comments, somebody asked, what is in that cup Pat's drinking from all the time? So
right.
I don't want to sell him out, but I will, because he told me that he's been putting a shot of Clorox bleach in there.
That's right.
He's drinking Lysol.
And it immediately turned me into kind of a big deal with my pickle handle. That's the secret to life.
Well, shot of Lysol in your coffee.
It's not quite the spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down. It can have that ring to it. Oh man, if it would just go down into my lower back, that's been bothering me. That's why I'm retching around like a 12-year-old kid in church with a tie on.
Only somebody who lives in Dillsburg would have that coffee mug.
Well, not to toot my own horn, humble brag. This was gifted to me because I may or may not have been the interim mayor of our town for 5 months. # mayor for a minute. That was bequeathed to me because of said lofty title that was the most symbolic position ever. Got to ride in parades and kiss babies. So kind of a big deal. Look it up. Don't look it up.
I was tempted to show something else, but I think maybe we'll wait on that.
All right.
Well, and so disappointingly today, and I don't see Mike Roadblock in here today. Disappointingly, I thought Pedal today was going to be something else.
Right.
So Mike and I talked after that one episode, and he is sending over the Earthquaker speaker cranker. He said he'd make me a deal, and he wasn't mine. He wasn't mine. So I was hoping that was going to be the pedal of the day today.
Gives us something to look forward to.
And after watching, talking with Bosco the other day, because I don't have enough slides, because my favorite slide, the Moonshine slide that you can't buy anymore. Close second, the Rocky Mountain slide, which is pretty cool.
Is that the one you got when we were at Creator?
That's the one from Creator's Music.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. The one that I've really been liking is the Silica Sound slide. This one's really cool. and it like you probably can't tell. Well, maybe you can tell. It actually tapers. It gets thinner as it goes up. So when you put it on your finger, it kind of hugs your finger and stops. And I like the shorter slide. I don't like the real long ones, but I couldn't resist after talking to Bosco, and he had that shiny mag slide. I know Ben Combs had that on his show at one time. I couldn't resist. I had to buy one of those.
So yeah, Uncle Bry ain't B pickles maybe. So Stu Rat's asking a question. If you want to throw it up there, Jason.
Yeah. Any suggestions for a good tube amp combo? I know what you're going to say.
Well, it said for home volume levels. No, it has a master volume. I'd pick it up, but I just took the Mesa Transatlantic and cabinet and moved it because even though I retubed it, it was acting squirrely. And I put the old Steady Eddie PV Classic 30 112 combo is right here to my right. And because it has a master volume, you can drive the gain at somewhat sane levels. Am I showing anything important? There we go. Right down there. That's part of the reason I like master volume amps, because you can get as crazy as you want to on the drive and have it break up and then just turn it down a little bit. I'm not sure. I mean, that is the, well, I have a Vox, oh my gosh, Pathfinder, solid state, but it's a smaller, like 10-inch speaker, but so it's not tube, but I don't know, Classic 30 with the master volume. You can drive it pretty hard and cut it back a little bit.
That would be well, I mean, I guess it depends on what you want to play too. Like if you want clean sound or if you want to be like doom metal or something. Brian put the Supro Blues King 12, which those are really, really nice. I've had the opportunity to play through it once and I should have bought it because they had it on sale. BCR had their anniversary sale and they had one in there and they had it on sale for a pretty good price and I didn't buy it and then they weren't giving that price up later.
Right.
Classic rock and blues. You know, I had laughed at Pat several years ago for saying PV because I was kind of a PV snob. Like I didn't like them. And now I own two PV Classic 30s. I own a combo and a head.
But see, I recognize the laughter because the same laughter aimed at me, I aimed at Brody. You want me to buy a what?
Right.
A who?
A PV?
And in part, and if you'll look, none of I refer to as the PV logo prior to like the 5150 as the Barney Rubble font, which I wasn't down with the font. So I have two 410s in that series and at least a 115 and two 112s, and not a single one of them has the logo plate on them. It's the first thing I do is take the logo plates off. Because I don't like the look. It's not that I don't want people to know I'm playing PV. I just don't like that logo. But because I've done that, they in places I've played before at first glance, because it's the tweed that people have mistaken it for a Fender. But
I started playing the Classic 30 head on the 112 combo because I was lazy and didn't want to carry my own amp, and it was there and you allowed me to. And I had been playing that amp for 2-3 years, right? And they used to have at the Blues Jam, they had a Fender Deluxe Reverb. Well, they used to have hot rods there. They used to have Fender hot rods, which I love the Fender hot rod, the 112 amp. I think it's great. Any of the Fender hot rods I like. And I couldn't get with the PV. When I would feel like if I got on the PV, I got stuck with the PV. I was late to the stage. And I didn't really like it. And I think it's a 115 PV. I don't know. I just didn't really like it that much. But the Classic 30, I mean, I really do. I like it. I would love to try the PV, what's it called? Like the Delta Blues ones that have the tremolo and only have maybe...
It's a 15-inch speaker, yeah.
Well, they have one that's a 210. They have a 210 Delta Blues with tremolo on it. I'd love to try that amp.
Yeah.
But like Stu Rat said, less than $500. And I guess I would go... You get on Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace, I see the Classic 30s pop up pretty regularly for $350, $325, somewhere in there. I don't think you can beat it.
No. Uncle Bry was mentioning the VHT Special 6 and is asking you to go down a rabbit trail and look that up. He said he saw one for about $150.
All right.
VHT Special 6.
The VHT, what are we going to look it up on? Reverb?
Reverb, sure. Source of all truth, Reverb. Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, that's true, Brody. The Classic 30 does have an effects loop, built-in reverb, spring reverb, as a matter of fact. And
so it's
master. Yeah, VHT Special 6, he said.
It's a 110 6-watt combo. Brand new. Here's a $499. Here's a $349. Very good $249. Let's hit used. How much do you see it for?
$150.
$225. Here's $150 local pickup only. Let's see if that's the one.
So, Uncle Bry, was that local to
California.
you? Is that local to you? It's like $150 and a couple armadillo carcasses. Is that the currency that was being used for that trade?
So there's a story with VHT that I don't really know because there's like a history with them where they were built by somebody else or something, and then they got bought by somebody, or they were hand wired for a while and then they weren't. I don't know the history of it, but I've heard good things about them.
Yeah, Stu Rat just looked it up. There's a Classic 30 on his Facebook Marketplace for $350. That's a pretty good price. Like, you get closer to $3, that's a really, really good price. Every once in a while, maybe a $275, but pretty consistent $350 and above.
I had an Egnator Rebel
20 or 30?
30?
Yeah.
Rebel 50. It was a Rebel. It was the Egnator where you can go between it had both 6L6s and the L34s.
Right. Yeah.
I traded that head for my TV Classic 30 combo, and then I had picked up a Marshall Origin 50, and I actually traded that amp for a PV Classic 30 head. And the guy had done some work on it. He put a thing on it to attenuate. He put a trim pot to attenuate it or something inside. Put a standby. It's a 3-way toggle, so it has off, standby, on now, which they normally don't have.
Right.
But I just figured that the Classic 30 is going to retain its value probably better, longer. And
well, it's a workhorse, and Brody keeps reminding me of features too, right? So the 112 has also an extension cab plug out. It doesn't defeat the 12-inch speaker, but you can easily just disengage the speaker that's in the cab, and then you basically have a Classic 30 head that's voiced a little bit different than the Classic 30 head that exists. But yeah,
of course, right now, if somebody had a PV Classic 30 on Facebook Marketplace and I was interested in it, I'd probably offer them $300 for it. You probably get it for $325.
And we mentioned the Vox Pathfinder 15R, which again, solid state, but Michael McAdenney's saying there's a easy mod to do take 2 internal LEDs, open up for more clean drive, because it's 15 watts, so it breaks up pretty fast.
There's amps are hard to sell. Like I'm not joking. Like when I said I would offer him 3, I mean amps are hard to sell. Amps sit online forever. I had a Fender Hot Rod 212. I basically had to pay somebody to take it eventually. I had it on Craigslist for probably 1.5 to 2 years, and then took it to Chris and put it in Chris's place for a consignment for years. It was signed by Big Jack Johnson on the top too. Nobody cared.
Yep. Nope. Apparently not.
Yeah,
they are hard to sell. So if you said a local that works for you,
yeah, I mean,
it's usually like, let's make a deal. Like I said to Jason, my gosh, last time I was down in Atlanta, guy had a Vox AC30 that was almost brand new in a road case that was like $600, and it was local pickup, and I was driving back from Georgia, but I wanted to stay married. But I mean, he had already knocked like $300 off of it. He was up for $900, which is already a really competitive price. So yeah, not that you all need to. We have the whole tagline of no matter what you hear, never too much gear. But do that. Do your normal like little searches, especially now that you're bored, right? Go through your Craigslist local one, go through your Facebook Marketplace one, Reverb, eBay. A lot of that stuff's cross-listed, but you'd be surprised what you can find, especially if you get lucky enough for local pickup.
Yeah, I mean,
that's how you got that Fender, the Leslie one behind you.
mm-hmm. Well, I mean, in the Leslie 16, I paid. What did I pay for that? $350 or something.
Yeah. And you drove less than an hour, right? 45 minutes.
Yeah, and I met him at a guitar store that I was happy to go to.
Right.
So the Leslie 16, I paid $350 for. And here it is on Reverb. All right, so this guy has 16 375, 1,000, 375, 1,000. You know, I mean, good on them if I'll sell it to you for 1,000 and ship it to you for free.
I have a hybrid. Depending on how close it is, you can pay me. I'll take it to him.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I mean, amps, big and bulky amps are hard.
Stu Rat's asking if anyone tried that Monoprice tube amp. That's a no for me.
No, and I've thought about it. Take that out of the stream for 1 second. I've thought about that.
While you're doing that, McEnany chiming in saying it makes him appreciate his 67 Bandmaster. He's cool. Yep.
So the Monoprice tube amp comes with a Celestian speaker. It's a 112 guitar combo, 15 watts. But on Amazon right now, they're all like $300, and that's not right. They should be. That's somebody bought them up somewhere and is trying to make money on them. Because I think they're normally like $100 or something.
I've never even looked them up. Not for show.
Well, I don't. This is Monoprice's website. Tube amps. 25 watt stereo hybrid tube amp with Bluetooth is $143. I don't see the actual one that people. 50 watts. Yeah, I don't see it. There was a cheap tube amp that Shane from In the Blues had on a while back too. I forget what that was.
Yep.
So Jack the Rabbit says he has 2 of the Monoprice amps. They're great. Where'd you pick it up, Jack? Where'd you buy it from? There's a Marshall AVT 50 for $150. I don't know. By the way, welcome, Jack. How you doing?
Okay.
Jack from Monoprice. Yeah, I mean they're supposed to. I wonder if it's my pedal showing up.
That might be worth leaving the chair.
If I get a little like delivered notification.
Yeah, Jack the Rabbit said they were $150 each back then with the discount code.
Yeah, I can't believe it, but I mean, I feel like I've recommended the PV Classics now over and over again.
I mean, they're basically bulletproof. I mean, I don't think I've ever had a problem with one. I mean, other than tubes, which that's normal.
Outside, well, we had the one that I used go down on me once.
Man, it was tube related, right? Which isn't unusual.
Yeah, we think it was. Yeah, we replaced the tubes and it's been fine. So 15 amps are nice too, but I don't think they're quite as I don't know. I really like them. I mean, I love the hot rod amps too, but I think you could probably get if I don't want to. So right behind me,
Your other behind.
right behind me, because it's still set up like we are able to record something. Right. So the Fender Hot Rod Deluxe and then the PV Classic 30. And then in the back is the Classic 30 head that's hooked up to the Leslie right now. But if I'm coming down and want to play not as loud, a lot of times I would plug into the Classic 30 because I feel like, the Fender I like to push. But the Classic 30 sounds good when we push it too.
Mm-hmm.
There's Terry Hines, man. How you been? Wow, Pat. 50 minutes in a show about nothing. I don't know. Tomorrow we'll probably be on. Guest is up in the air.
Yeah.
There might be a Saturday where we change times, but for a particular guest, but I don't know if that's going to happen yet. But if I find out if that's going to happen, I'll try and get it out early. Sunday, probably not.
Right.
And then we'll be back Monday and maybe have guests. I don't know.
Yeah, Stu, you had to make a $300 offer.
I don't know, man. Go for the gold and offer him $275. What is it? PV Classic 30. Hold on. Let's check reverb.
Well, while you do that, and it's going to sound like crap, but I will show you the range of gain in this thing. Got to give it a second. It doesn't have a standby, as we discussed.
Oh, wait. One other thing while you're getting that ready. One other thing to keep in mind. Some of the PV Classic 30s are made in USA and some of them aren't. So the older ones are made in the USA. So if you look at, if the guy has pictures up on Marketplace and look at the back, some of them have
made in China.
I don't know that means anything, but whatever. Barber Dave just popped in and said, "Congrats on the 100K sub." Thanks, man. That was nice. It's nice to finally get there. And Guitar Hack just popped in too. Guitar Hack comes in right at the end.
That's right.
We're happy you stopped in there, man. That's awesome. So on reverb, you're looking 400, 374, 325. Let's do them low to high. Low to high. Oh, like 400, 325, 350, 399. So if you get it at 300 or below, you're doing really well.
So it's 2 channels, got a foot switch. Right now I'm in the second channel because it has the pre and the post. So this would be like just the pre at 2 and the post at 2. I got a carbon copy. I don't know how loud this is, but here's that's 2 on the pre. I'm sorry, yeah, it's 2 on the pre, and just going up to like 4. And we'll keep going up. I'll just jump up to 8. And it goes, not only does this go to 11, it goes to 12. But I'll back the post down to like 2. So I could take it to 12 and down to 2. Take it below 2 so you can get all that drive if you wanted it. So anyway, I'm sure it didn't sound that great, but just to show you from like 2 all the way to 12, and then with the master volume, you can tame the beast.
And the clean channel is really nice too.
Yeah.
Which guitar are you playing there?
I'm playing the Yamaha that we're going to talk about in another episode. Mine. Yeah. But yeah, clean channel. Woo. That's the clean channel on 2.
Stuart, I like the tweed ones, but the head is tweed, the combo is black. Pat has all tweed. I like the tweed better. If I could trade the black one I have for a tweed one, I would. So I'd say tweed is easier, probably easier to resell than the black, but I think any amp right now is hard to sell. So
yeah, and all mine are older, so I have all American made. Yeah, because I think I double checked. My classic 30 head that's at the church is American made. I did check that the one day I was out there.
Music Therapy Laz just popped in. I was hanging out in his channel last night a little bit.
Well, the good news about Stu Rat that PV logo is only held on by 2 screws. So easy, problem solved. All you need is this right here. Let's take that. Take that, and you can take it right out of Bedrock right into Main Street.
Hack said he had a classic PV Classic 50.
Yeah, our friend Jason at church had one. I found that to be, I don't know, I didn't find that I needed the 50. It was a 212, heavy, right? And I felt like because it was a tube, I never felt like the 50 gave me anything that I couldn't get out of the 30. And I like a lot of gain. So, again, the master volume. That's why I like the Mesa amps I have too, because I love master volume amps for that reason.
We're exactly opposite in that.
Right.
I have amps that have master volumes, but I never click to that channel.
Right.
I'd really like to have an amp that's just volume, tone, and reverb, maybe tremolo. Volume, tone, basically I want an old Fender amp.
Right. Yeah.
Jack said he had a 410 at weighted ton.
That's true. I mean, they're cool, and some of those you can get for not a lot too. So it's not bedroom tone, right, or not bedroom volume. But if you had a studio or a man cave or something that you weren't gonna have to haul that thing around, they do sound cool. I mean, I have the 410 cabinet, so I can plug my 30 head into that 410. But yeah, those were cool. And the Delta Blues is one that I talked about myself getting at one point. And I just never did. Made in Meridian, Mississippi.
So right now, with everybody going to see, here's my theory. I'm going to be able to pick up an old Fender amp because the price on them is going to go down because everybody's picking up a Helix or a Kemper or things like that.
Right.
So at some point, we're going to reach the height of Helix, Kemper, that world, and everybody's going to sell their old tube amps. And it's already hard to sell a tube amp because nobody wants to carry them anymore. So I'll be able to pick up like a nice 210 Vibrolux for cheap. And then everybody's going to realize they miss air moving, and they're all going to want to go back, and then the value of it's going to go back up. That's my story.
Yeah. Yeah, Hack, I do remember they were combos. I was just saying that, so I've at least been able to hear mine through that 410 format, but didn't have to carry around that ginormous amp built in. Either was running it off. Of course, the trade-off was I was either running it off the 130 combo, or after I got the head, ran it off the head. And it's nice too because I had the 410 and the 15, and you could daisy chain them together. So I could put the head on top or the classic 3112 and put it on top of a 410 and a 15 because you need that. Music
Therapy said he's not sure. He's not there yet with the audio on his live stream. We've kind of Pat and I have this conversation from time to time. I have accepted the fact, and we're living in a time right now where most musicians haven't, and I could be wrong. But I've accepted the fact that like playing music over a live stream doesn't work. I mean, there's degrees of not working. Like Bosco France sounded all right the other day because he had it mic'd in another room and he had it running through an interface, and it wasn't as bad. Brian
Ewald the same way, but those guys are set up to do that, to give like Skype lessons and tracking and all that.
Right, and so they're in their studios with their interface and their They got their amps in another room. They got it mic'd. But I keep seeing all these musicians try to put stuff out, and like our Blues Society tried to do a blues jam last night, which was interesting. It was really fun. It was a Zoom blues jam. They had all people that go to the jam were watching, people that play were there playing. But man, the sound is just, it's hard. It's hard.
It is. Jumping back to a different topic. Yeah, Terry Himes. I'm okay with talking about it. I won't go through it. Well, if I go through it again, we'll talk about it for a different reason. But this is a 1980 Yamaha SA2000 in red wine, gold hardware, which at one point I really loved that. Not as much anymore. Obviously double bound. Nice little flame on the back, or grain on the back. It's pretty heavy, but man, it's awesome. And I would have to defer to Brody and even Jason. I think Jason's played this once. I think the pickup's original. I've never checked. They did trade out the tuners to Spurzel locking tuners. 1980, and we've talked about Phil Keaggy a number of times on this show. I have this guitar because I saw Phil Keaggy play one back in the day, and pretty much this exact same one. He switched out these two things because he likes to do the volume knob pinky swells. You flip those around. But fantastic guitars, and kind of hard to find. This one's in really good shape. The reason I had it out was because I'm trying to rotate through guitars. I may sneak out of the house in the cover of darkness and swap out a couple guitars at a time with the church, because while we're bored, I'm going to try to bring them out. But brought this out because maybe we started talking about pickup swaps and doing different things, and I still am hung up on the Charlie Christian Lawlers that I heard at Ray Santana's house. And so I was thinking about what guitar would I maybe even temporarily swap pickups out. But anyway, that's it. I love them. They're great. They make an SA2200. They had other guitars in that series that were double cutaway, more SG size. That's a great line. The Japanese were making great guitars. Well, see, again, I showed my Ibanez before, was a 79. This is an 80. It's rock solid. I mean, I played Brody's 335. I've played Jason's 335. I would like it to have a 335 at some point because I love Larry Carlton, but that scraps the 335 itch pretty good.
There's an episode we did on that guitar.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I opened up a can of worms with that. So some people are, maybe I need to backpedal? No, so Hack said if you use OBS, right? So I mean, there are some things you can do. So what I was saying too, like if they were using Zoom, taking compression off of it, but it's still, and there was somebody in there had his vocal mic on and had his guitar running through an interface with the compression and Zoom turned off. The vocals sounded pretty good. The guitar sounded like crap. All right. And so are there some guys that are out there pulling it off? Like I've heard, I don't know if I've heard RJ do live and play at the same time. Like I thought that Bosco sounded good and Ewald sounded good, but sometimes I'm not sure if it's that their tone sounds that good through the live streaming as much as it is that their playing shines through live streaming, because those guys can just play anything. But so I don't know. Maybe you can, but I'm just, I've seen some very big names be putting stuff out lately that you're like, whoa.
Well, and I think that in my opinion, I think people get confused as to what it can do, right? Because you had the iHeartRadio concert that was on like 3 weeks ago, and then you just had another one that was on. I mean, I think there was an incredible amount of post-production on that stuff. Or a friend of mine is out in Pittsburgh, and he's a music leader at his church, and there were like 30 different churches in Pittsburgh that did something. And it looked like it was Zoom. But somebody did a ton of back-end editing to make that sound right. I've yet to see like a true live, this is all live, we didn't edit. Like it'd be like if Jason and I started playing together right now. I don't know that I've seen that yet. That sounds good.
Well, and the latency.
Right.
So the guy I was talking to about this said there's one program out there that claims a real low latency that claims you can do it, but The latency even between you and I would, I think, make it almost impossible.
So I think we can agree that like people can do it by themselves and make it sound pretty good. It's when you start adding in extra people that I've got to believe that everything I've seen had some crazy heavy back-ending editing going on that stuff. But anyway, we're not anti it, right? Like I think you all know kind of how we feel about modelers. We're not wild about it, but we're not anti-streaming, anti-live music. It's just how do you do it and do it live and have it sound good?
That does seem to be when, like, Hack uses his Helix, right? Hack, will you use your Helix sometime live? And I think when you're using something like that straight in, it does tend to get you a little bit better. Maybe.
Yeah, and I mean, a lot of people chiming in, right? Like Stu Rat said he got to see Ace Frehley giving lessons live the other day, and Jack the Rabbit, big names have engineers who do all the work. Yeah, I think, you know, and maybe I'm forgetting the genesis of the rabbit hole here, but you know, it's about trying to make it sound good. And if you didn't have this gear going into this lockdown, forget it. You're not going to find it, right? We talked about that. We talked about that with David Barber. I think even about trying to find a webcam. So I think probably trying to find interfaces that are reasonably priced and available, and some of the things that it would take to make this happen, I think it's all been bought up. Yeah, Hack said he did use the Helix. Yeah, so I mean, certainly, you know, going direct into different programs definitely make it easier. You take out the miking and the mic placement and all of that.
We're over time, but let's try a little experiment. I have. I don't know if that will work. I can switch my mic to the Focusrite. So we're going through the interface.
Okay.
But I can't pick what channel. So I don't know if it's going to pick up the first and second channel. So let me... Oh, I shouldn't be messing with stuff.
I don't know. You probably get. It's like having a live help desk. You could phone a friend. Just look over at the chat.
All right, let me pull out the mic that's on the hot rod. Put it in that channel. Turn down the gain a little bit.
Turn down for what?
And I'm gonna. Oh.
Jack the Rabbit's asking what DAW you're using.
What DAW? None.
There you go.
Well, right now, I hope I didn't mess that up. What happens if I do this? I'll probably cut out, so you'll have to tell me.
I have to tell you cut out? I could wave my hand in the other window we have open.
Did you hear that at all?
I heard you playing. I don't hear the playback.
What's that?
I don't hear the playback.
What do you mean?
Like you said, kind of hear. I heard you playing, but I don't hear anything now. If you're playing something, if you recorded something, you're playing it back. I'm not sure what you're doing.
No, I mean you could hear me playing. That was through the Focusrite.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Was it cleaner or was it all?
It was probably a little better than some of the quality of the audio of the clips we played.
Here, right. I'll try it one more time. If I switch, so, oh wait, maybe I'm not. Let's try this.
It like compresses and cuts out.
Yeah.
At least on my end. Again, I'm wearing these Apple headphones, and
Oh, wait. We're going to try one more thing. Let me try one more thing.
That was the best yet.
Is that better?
Yeah, that was the best yet. Yeah, that was the best yet.
So that's that disabling the audio processing that they were talking about. So I switched over to the Focusrite and then disabled the audio processing.
All right.
So maybe even playing just through the room mic, you would have to disable the audio processing. What are the chances I'm going to get these mic cables back in the right channels?
Slim to none. The intern will do it.
I don't know. So I have to eat my words that like.
Well, that's still you playing by yourself, not inviting someone else into the party.
All right.
Live.
It's too bad. Oh, wife is home. Have some new gear data explaining to do. Let us know how you make out, man. Let us know what you get it for.
It's too bad you have a lot of explaining to do.
Good luck, man. Good luck. Offer him
You could do
whatever you said.
One of my wife's coworkers is a musician, and he'll buy something and stick it in the closet or under the bed, and then wait a couple weeks and pull it out. What's that? Oh, it's been under the bed. I've had this. So, you know.
Or you leave with an empty case and you come back with a case with a guitar in it.
You know, maybe put the PV Classic 30 in the hall closet with the coats and the vacuum, and then just eventually just take it out.
So I keep saying to my wife that we're gonna do a quiz her on gear. Maybe we should have her on. Maybe we should have my wife on the show.
Good.
And then we can hand her guitars and see which ones she can name, and we can do like a quiz. I know other people have done that. She probably would do pretty. You would understand why I can't sneak guitars in.
I would want you to do it just so people can see her reaction to the aqua-colored Strat and the gold Gretsch. That would be worth the whole episode right there.
What do you think of this guitar? It's ugly.
Or the Epiphone 339 that she had to try to put her hands in to help when you were rewiring or putting pots in, which you've kind of tried to talk me out of switching pickups in this because the Keebler Elf hands will not be available.
Right.
So.
All right. Well, I think we're about there. Music therapy. If there's anything we can help. I mean, I know I'm kind of like poo-pooing the live streaming playing thing, but I mean, if there's anything we can do to help, I'd be happy to help.
I'd be happy to stay out of it because that would be the best thing I could do to help.
Pat, do you see on your screen where you can change your cam and mic?
On the laptop that I'm using that's like from 19...
No, on your phone.
On my phone. To change it? I can see where I can...
button?
A what? Sorry, I was talking.
The settings button?
Not on my phone. There's a settings button on the laptop, but not
okay. Because there is a place in there where you can turn off audio processing, and that might help. Like, I wonder... if I disable audio processing right now, I just play through that mic. Does it sound a little better?
Well, even your voice sounded. Yeah.
This might be out of tune, but.
Yeah, it sounds more natural. It sounds like the distance of the amp from you, like it's on the other side of the room, but it's clear. It's not compressing. It's not cutting out.
So maybe that helps a little bit. I don't know. Because it probably wouldn't compress as much. Yeah, we're newbies. We don't know.
Right. I'm okay with that.
We went 14 minutes over on a show where we had nothing. It's time to let these good people go so we can figure out dinner.
Well, we had the Freddie King lab up front.
Bad delay. Yes. So if you weren't here in the beginning, we showed a Freddie King clip. If you go to our Facebook page, PJ and the Beard on Facebook, I shared that yesterday. It's a great It's a great clip. It's a great song. It's a great version. It's a lesson in how a band should play together and dynamics, and you need to go check it out. It's awesome. So if you missed that, go check that out. Go to our PJ and the Beard Facebook page. And I think that's it. We'll be here, I think, tomorrow. But
for sure. All right.
I think we have overstayed our.
All right. Well, with that, thanks for everybody for joining in. And with that, I'm PJ on behalf of the Beard, reminding you, no matter what you hear, you never have too much gear. And just for old time's sake,